morning. Thanks for coming back again. We're really excited to have Kent here. Going to be a great addition to our roster. His skill set's going to fit in perfectly with our style of play, and we'll open it up to questions. Okay, we'll wrap it up there.
All right. Go.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, just being here, I mean, obviously you moved around the league a little bit. Just your knowledge of Portland is what?
The fans here are great. I think the Motor Center has always been rocking, regardless of what side of the ball you're on. I think I came here playing for the Lakers back in '14 and threw an alley-oop to Wesley Johnson to win. And I think it was our first time winning here in a while. But it's just such a good environment. I think they understand the game of basketball, regardless. I mean, I don't think they boo the other team. They just like to watch a good band of basketball, and I'm excited to have them as allies now. So, the culture here is great. I'm here to just continue moving the franchise in the right direction. That's winning the championship. Watched them all last postseason, and it's like the first time you meet your wife. It just fits your eye. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting after it.
What kind of things did you like about this team watching the playoff run last year?
Obviously, Damian Lillard and I came in the league at the same time, and we're actually classmates at the rookie transition program, him, myself, and Myers Leonard. So a little bit of history there. He's a mid-major guy, so is CJ, and I am as well. So I think we all have that kind of that chip, and he plays with an enormous chip on his shoulder, and it's someone that I would love to play for, go to battle with every night. Him and CJ, arguably the best backcourt in all of basketball. So. I think it's a solid position for me to come in and just do what I do best. In Atlanta, over the past couple of years, things are kind of, I guess the outlook on the franchise shifted a little bit, and I kind of got caught in the middle of that, and trying to reinvent myself in the middle of it all. And but I'm here, and I can do the things that I'm put on this earth to do.
Kent, what is it about defense that intrigues you?
Not a lot of people like to do it, so when you do it well, you stand out. So but it takes effort, and I like making it easier on my teammates, and if I can make it tough for the other guys' other team's best player, then I feel like I've done my job. I don't really care for plays being ran for me. I like to kind of go out there and do the dirty work, like your PJ Tuckers and Andre Iguodala's and all those guys around the league that they just stay in the background. They just do all the dirty work, and that's why I'm here.
When did you kind of realize you have a large wingspan, and is there any funny stories related to that?
No, I mean it's just I played football growing up. Well, yeah, I do well. So I played football growing up. I hate dropping passes, so I run across the middle. I was like 11 years old, and I stretch out, and this guy just smacks me. So that's when I found out football wasn't for me. But I caught the ball, and I saw it on film, and it was an amazing catch. But that was like the first time I really knew I had, extremely long arms for my frame. Yeah.
Can you discuss just your thought process and the franchise's thought process in making this move?
Well, we've always liked Kent. He's a great fit positionally for us, style of play. He was a free agent we were looking at in 2016. At the time, he did exactly what guys are supposed to do, which is he re-signed with the franchise that gave him a great opportunity to showcase his abilities, and they got him off the market really before the market opened. But here we are, 3 years later, we continue to track his progress. As our team got better and better, having a player that plays his style of basketball can contribute at an even higher level, because like Ken said, there are things that aren't going to be asked of him here that he may have been asked of him with a younger roster. His shot quality is going to go up with Dame and CJ. His ability to defend multiple positions, his ability to play without the ball, move without the ball will be key for us in terms of Terry's system. He can speak to that. But that was it. I mean, look, we all know we're in a difficult position in terms of our position. We're over the tax as of today after this acquisition. We had a lot of non-bird free agents on our roster that, we only have one tax mid-level. So, in order to continue to build this roster to compete at the level everybody's come accustomed to, a lot of our transactions are going to be by trade. And like I said, ET was phenomenal for us. He's great in the locker room, his skill set. But with the distinct possibility we might end up losing Rodney Hood to offers that go beyond what we can compete with based on our mid-level, our tax mid-level, we needed to get a wing that replicated a lot of the things we were successful with doing last season.
Hey, Coach, your thoughts on Kent's skill set and kind of how he fits in, at least with the guys on the roster at the moment?
A lot of things that Neil just said, obviously, but I think the athleticism that he brings to the roster is important. The ability to run the floor. One thing I like what he just said about not having plays run for him, but finding his niche. Guys like Kent have a way of impacting the game on their own, whether it's defensively or rebounding or getting out in the lane or a timely three. Or I think he just fills a lot of those things that we're looking for at the offensive end. And as you mentioned, defensively, he can guard three positions. He can really be tough at the defensive end, and I think his versatility will help us as well.
Ken, what does it mean to join a winning team, a team that's coming off of a Western Conference Finals appearance?
It's a breath of fresh air. The past 2 years have been tough. I'm a guy that loves to compete every night, and obviously I want to thank the Atlanta Hawks for extending my career and put me in a position to thrive and put me in a position to be still sought after with a franchise like the Portland Trail Blazers. So big thanks to Mr. Slink and Tony Russell and the crew there. But it feels good. I know these guys want to win every night, and it's something that's understood. It's something that's not. These guys don't have to talk about it. I'm sure there weren't many talks during the season, after losing a game or something that, hey guys, we got to pick it up. I'm sure these guys, they get after it every night, and that's just. That's another thing about playing in the West. There's really no nights off, and getting back to that brand of basketball, playing at a high level every night. Is what I love. My first year in Atlanta, we won 60 games, got to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I've been almost to the pinnacle of NBA basketball, and it's tough. And I know how every possession matters. I know taking care of business when you're supposed to. I know how how men win on the road. I know it's tough, in certain atmospheres, and these guys all replicate that. And it's just I started out in the West Coast, playing in the Pacific Division as well, and it's one of the easy places to play, and it definitely isn't now with the growth of Dame and CJ and getting Nurkic back next season. It's going to be huge. So I'm just chomping at the bit. I've just had a son 2 months ago, and my zest for life is just at an all-time high. My body feels great, and I'm just ready to get back to the promised land.
Ken, how would you describe Kelford?
About big as this room. Well, no, Kelford, North Carolina is where I grew up, about 300 people. And, I had about, 12 or 13 kids my age. So we emulated a lot of sports. We played a lot of things growing up. And, it's still something that's a part of me. I love brotherhood. I love community. I love, camaraderie. I love, team chemistry. I'm a big proponent of that. And, even back to my college days playing under Blaine Taylor, he always preached, being your brother's keeper. And I think these guys, they do that here, and I think that's why they've been successful. And I look at myself as a plug and play. I don't really see myself missing the beat here. The style fits great. I know I just want to make the guys' jobs a lot easier, moving without the ball, slashing. Getting back to what I was doing, running the lanes. Not too many people that can keep up with that, for a very long time. Look at a guy like, Corey Brewer. It's one thing I really liked about his game is that he just stretched the floor. Like he would just run through the camera guys if he had to shrink the defense, and that'll open up a lot of opportunities for my teammates.
Hey, Kent, you mentioned the culture here a few minutes ago. I'm curious, as someone, observing from the outside the past few years, what is your view of the culture of this organization?
It definitely makes you jealous, man. You got the guys running off the bench, greeting their guys, and you see them over there locked in the entire game, cheering them on, and that does a lot. My career started on the bench with the Golden State Warriors and waving the towel the entire game, but you see how it benefits your teammates. They all feed off of it, and when you got 5 guys on the court, then you got another 8, 9, or 10 guys over there, even the coaching staff. even the training staff, even the guys in the weight room. I think everyone benefits when we win here, and that's what makes the job special. I think everyone counts, and that's what makes a franchise a great one.
Neil, after the draft, after you get this year, you trade for Kent. How do you feel about kind of the team's offseason plan about a week going into free agency moratorium?
It's a work in progress. We had talked about this, I think, at the exit interviews. You know, look, roster building's fluid. You know, we went in the draft, we had certain plans. You know, a player got to us we weren't expecting. We considered that a win. You know, where we are today, adding Nasir and Kent has moved the ball forward for us. I mean, we're clearly not done, but you know, different organizations make different moves relative to their cap position at different times. You know, in about 4 or 5 days, it's going to be, you know, the teams with cap room are the belle of the ball. And let's not fail to make that distinction. There's a difference when you have a 5.7 tax mid-level and someone has $60 million in cap room, you know, who's going to be answering telephones. But, you know, we return a lot of our core pieces. We've got a lot of stability in the roster, stability with our coach, stability with our culture. But it will be ongoing, and it will not be. I know everybody would like to send out their grades on July 1st, and if you sent out grades on July 1st last year, they would not have reflected Rodney Hood and Enes Kanter. So just understand that it's going to take, that's why we have July, we have August, we get into the preseason, we get to December 15th, we have January contracts, we get to the trade deadline. So roster building is an ongoing process, and the more you evaluate your team, the more you know where your needs are. And like I said, I think that's what people should expect is there are not going to be fireworks on July 1st with a $5 million tax mid-level competing against teams with 2 max slots. But that doesn't mean that we're not retaining, you know, the core of our roster. It doesn't mean we're not making trades to add quality players. It doesn't mean we're not developing our young guys. As you guys can see when you walked into the building tonight, you know, Gary and Zach are out there working already. Our mini camp ended 8 days ago. They're still here. So, like I said, we'll continue to work and find ways to compete, and we will continue to build the roster and hopefully do what we did last year, which is when it really matters late in the year, we have a team that can go on the kind of run we went on last season.
Can you speak to that, how valuable you think the continuity is? Because you were nodding your head. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge proponent of continuity. Like I said, I mean, I was my first year in Atlanta, we won 60 games, and guys started to trickle out after that, and you kind of see the effects of it. And you know, obviously the front office changed a bit, so they had other plans. But it's important to, you know, keep your guys around that been around. And you look at a team like Toronto. Obviously, they made a big move to get Kawhi, but a lot of those guys had already been there. You know, Kyle Lowry was a staple; he was a leader, and that team reflected that. So you keep your guy there. And importantly, like I said, Dame and CJ, you keep those guys here. Nurkic, he just came here, but he's fit in so perfectly. I think all those guys blend together, and that alone will attract, you know, the right people to come. And I'm sure the front office here does a good job of getting high character guys that fit with what they want to do, and that's what it's all about. You know, the NBA is a league that, you know, a lot of guys make a lot of money, and there could be so many egos, but when you find the guys that are willing to sacrifice, I think that what really sets you apart, and they've done a good job of getting the right guys here.
Neil, as you look to advance this franchise, I mean, up to now, your track record with bringing in guys of character it speaks for itself. Will you ever bend or sacrifice on the character standpoint to advance this on the court?
Well, you know, and I don't want it we look at talent, we look at chemistry, we look at character. It's always the same scale. Are you more valuable than your problems? There's degrees. There's just degrees with different players. You know, Kent's been in a bunch of locker rooms. There's guys that maybe take a little bit of maintenance, but they're worth it. There are guys that are going to infect your culture and damage the ecosystem you have in your locker room. That's probably not worth it. So, look, we talk about character because that's where we're drawn to. We're drawn to guys that want to be in Portland. They want to play the way we want to play. They want to be good teammates. They value being around other high character people. And today, I mean, you know, we were in the Western Conference Finals, so we must be doing something right. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the kind of challenges and adversity the team faced on and off the court last year, I don't know that a team of low character, more talented players would have accomplished that when you have multiple staff members battling cancer, people with life-threatening injuries from car crashes, when you lose your franchise center, a week after the All-Star break to a colossally bad injury. And not once was there a blip on the radar from the coaches to the strength room to the training room to our players that we weren't all pulling the rope in the same direction. So what happens when you do that is you're more vulnerable to fracturing. And when you face adversity, do you have the kind of people that can stand up to it and overcome it? And I think last year was an example. Every time we thought we were out of the woods, Ennis dislocates his shoulder, right? Rodney gets a knee injury. CJ hurts his knee. All the things that we went through, it was a great run, but nobody's looking at the things that we had to battle throughout the entire year to get there. That I don't know that there would be another team in the league that could have overcome the kind of challenges that this group overcame to achieve what they did. And it's a testament to the kind of, not players, but the kind of people they are.
Terry, you talked about it a little bit, but maybe just how do you see Kent maybe joining that wing rotation of yours, and maybe what are some of the skills or some of the facets that he might be able to give you that you felt like you might not have had before his arrival?
Well, it's a little early to talk about rotation. We don't know what the roster is going to be. Get back to me on that question. But the thing, Kent has a body of work in the league, and he has shown what type of player that he can be. So, playing him at two and three, playing him at 2-3 wing spot. It's just I don't necessarily want to pigeonhole him, but as far as how he fits in, he's going to fit in. He has shown that he's able to fit in Atlanta and working his way into the league. He's going to find his way. I'm going to obviously help him with that. I think getting used to how we play. A lot of times I don't like having too many preconceived notions about, obviously we have some ideas, but I don't want to say this is how we're going to do it for sure, because I think it is fluid over the course of the year. But the one thing that is true is that he's going to find his way on the court, and he's going to be effective when he's there.
Kent, you're very involved with some programs, your arms and STEM. Why is that so important to you?
I've always just been the type of person to like to help people. Just even if it's giving them a smile or the minute things, but given this such a tremendous platform, being undrafted, working my way up, having people make sacrifices for me. I felt, kind of almost obligated to uplift people. And, through my Arms Foundation, I've moved into the tech space and the STEM space. And I think those two areas outside of sports give you the best opportunity to be as creative as you want. You can be as weird as you want. You can be whoever you are. It's almost a come as you are type thing. And, sending underprivileged youth from rural areas out to Austin, Texas, getting on a plane, stuff like that just really opens your eyes up to, seeing what's really out there. I remember the first time my mom drove us down to Florida to play in the AAU Nationals, and I got to see O.J. Mayo, Bill Walker, Eric Gordon, Derrick Rose, Kevin Love. I'm like, man, basketball is legit. And they were playing in the championship game, and I was just sitting there watching. I was like, man, I want to be out there one day. And that really just, I really had my eyes locked on, playing at the highest level. And I've outlasted, a lot of people that were way more talented than me. But I think seeing things like that coming from, an area where you're born with just so much grit, I think learning how to channel that, getting the right people around you, really gives you the best opportunities to see it at life. And I've been doing work in Atlanta, obviously now for a while, Virginia, where I went to college and back home. And my ultimate goal is to build an academy and, just help kids as much as I can, because it's not about, taking tests. It's just enduring the things of life, just, learning. For me, my rookie year, I didn't set up my auto pay. I missed 3 payments, just small things like that. Learning how to, just do life, keep the small mistakes out of the way and just, grind. So You know, I was ranked 499 out of 500 my rookie season by ESPN, and there was a joke. There were like some dead guys on there in front of me. So, you know, when you start in places like that and you work your way up, you know, it's almost like you've cracked some type of code, and this is what I want to kind of, you know, shed that knowledge to the people that kind of start behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Kent, how did you acquire number 24 from Anthony Simons?
I have no idea. But I'm gonna take care of him for that. But the equipment guy hit me up and said, what number you want to wear? I was like, is 24 available? He was like, I'll ask. And my agent screenshots a tweet, and I'll be wearing 24. So big props for that, man. I mean, I'm gonna look out for him all season, and you know, as long as we're together for that. That's 24 is a number that I've had since before Kobe. By the way, I was the first KB24. So I've had that number since I was 12 or 13 years old. So it's been with me for a very long time, and it means a lot. You know, 24-second shot clock, 24 hours in a day. Me and my mom are 24 years apart. So there's a lot that goes into that.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up there.
Right.
Take the photo real quick.
There you go. That was the Trailblazer.
Fun first.